Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. This is Lenor and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Taurus. If Taurus is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, let's see what do the tea leaves have in store for you, Taurus. These are pretty nice. Nicely spread out. Some of my more recent ones have other readings. There's a lot of bunching going on, but this one looks like it's okay. Okay, so I want to also just, before I really get started, I just want to say thank you so much for choosing to watch this video. I have so much fun doing these readings, and I hope you enjoy them too. Okay, so I see an A that is right in the center, so that seems like it's going to be something important. And I'm also seeing an L, okay? And I don't know if these are related, but they're close together, pretty close in proximity. So are these names? Are these kind of descriptive words? Will these be kind of synchronicities that are showing up for you? I kind of wonder if, and I'm going to turn this so maybe you can see it like I am right there. Okay, so this looks so much like a cardinal to me. Okay, and a cardinal, if you're not familiar, they're like a bright red, the males are a bright red bird, and they have this beautiful tail and the little kind of, their head, on their head it comes to a peak. And they're a rather small bird, but they have a pretty song and they are beautiful. Especially like right now here, there's a lot of snow and it's really white and kind of gloomy looking outside. But we have a pair of cardinals that come by in the backyard, and they're so bright. The male is so bright and vibrant against that kind of wintry background. And so what this means to me, because I've been told for many years that a cardinal, when you see a cardinal in your garden or your backyard in the trees, that is a sign that somebody who has passed in your life, somebody you love very much, who loved you very much, is coming to say hello. And it's not an ominous kind of visit or anything like that, but just a little reminder that they're thinking of you, that you are thinking of them, that there's still a lot of love between the two of you. So I often think of this as kind of like a parent, an aunt, uncle, grandparent, kind of more of a family kind of love. Although I suppose it could be any kind of love, really. But those kind of, the elders in our family that we grew up with, they often are the ones that really do hold that unconditional, undying, and enduring love for us. So that's kind of what I relate it with. So I wonder if these A or L is related to this cardinal coming to visit. I think you've had that energy in your life lately. I think that you have been thinking about this person. Maybe they've passed recently, or maybe it was many years ago. But there are times when they really are on your mind a lot. And I think that is true. And I think that this is really just such a symbol and a message from the universe that that is being noticed and, affirmed. Okay. And then let's kind of take a look around here. You have some of these kind of interesting, I really like this kind of tea that I have because I get really nice formations from them. Okay, and this one looks very much like a goat for me. Okay, so the goat, and I've had goats in a few of my readings recently. The goat is a symbol of leadership, of just ability, somebody who is a survivor, somebody who is really resourceful, can make things happen with very little. Okay, so I think this definitely is you, but this is in this position of the psyche, the internal dialogue, the things that you have been thinking about. So I feel like you have really been having to kind of take the lead in things that are going on in your life, whatever those are. I feel like you, it doesn't feel so much of a stressful thing, but as you're kind of patting yourself on the back, I think you feel kind of proud that you have helped navigate your people, your family, your children, maybe a spouse, or other family members through kind of probably what seems like maybe it's not a super bad time because this isn't a huge formation, but some difficulties that have come up recently. Okay, and I think that you really have been the one to really take the lead on that and to be the one with the responsibility. And I think this might be a newer role for you. Okay, I think that you're growing into it, and I think that you felt really good about being able to do this. And you know what? It's so close to this, the bird here, the cardinal. It's kind of just right over here, right? They're related. So maybe this is somebody who's been watching over you and really is just reinforcing that idea that you have done such a great job in all the things that you have been doing recently. Okay? And that's a nice little pat on the back, kind of. You are not going unnoticed. Okay, this one's interesting. I want to look at this in both ways. Okay, I think it goes this way. So this one looks like a ladder. And now I've read about getting a ladder in your tea leaves, but I've never actually had a ladder like this, where it actually is the cubes or the rungs and the squaring there. I've had things that kind of could be a ladder, but this one so much is definitely looking like a ladder. And it's kind of sitting on the ground here. And for me, the ladder is one of the more powerful spiritual symbols. It has, there's the Jacob's ladder, and the more important one to me personally, because of my own relationship with it, is this idea of the Axis Mundi, or the kind of the saying "as above, so below." So this beautiful ladder that kind of bridges from the lower material world up into the celestial macrocosmic world, okay? And in between all of those other kingdoms of mineral, animal, plant, and psyche, and so on. It depends on, the system that you're looking at, but the different hierarchies of angels and so on. But this is beautiful because it really also is just so plain as just climbing, ascending, going up into your higher self. Can be related to the idea of the Kundalini, the activation of the chakras throughout the body, the flow of energy, and just in general, like doing the self-work, okay? Becoming a more evolved person, going through the process of initiation and or self-initiation, and going through each sphere and activating those different parts of self. okay? And I think that this, for me, looking at this, it really must relate to that. It is interesting that it is kind of lying in this mental zone. I don't see that it's really going up into the spiritual zone here, or the metaphysical, or higher consciousness. But I think that this is work that is going on in your interior space. This is work that you are thinking about. You're spending a lot of time with it. You have prioritized this kind of work. And you know, you're building the framework to kind of move this ladder up, so it will be going from the material up into the spiritual. But this is where it is constructed, right? It's through contemplation, through research, reading, ritual, all of these kinds of you know, thought experiments that we kind of do as practitioners, and so on, whatever your path looks like, okay? So I think that you're really in this very fundamental phase of constructing the actual framework of your spiritual system. And that's a wonderful place to be. We, you know, spend a majority of our magical life doing this. Hopefully, anyways, right? So, you know, there's nothing wrong with that at all. I think that's so important. And really, when I see something like that, it really tells me that you are married to your work, your interior work, your spiritual work, your self-work. Okay. And so I think that's really, you have a lot of passion and drive to do so. I also see this beautiful figure right here, and it looks like it's kind of wearing a robe or some kind of long jacket. It's running towards this ladder. Okay. And and this really, to me, relates to this card that I pulled, and this is the Devil card, okay? And if you haven't watched a video before, I always pull a tarot card before I start the reading, and that kind of just gives me a general idea of the tone of the reading. And now you see the Devil card, and this is actually a really beautiful Devil card. It's very colorful. And you see this card, the Devil, and you think, oh no, that's a terrible card to pull, right? That's like evil, and you know, trouble is brewing. Well, I'm here to tell you that this is actually, in my opinion, one of the more auspicious cards to draw. This is a beautiful, wonderful card to draw. This is kind of an agent of change, of the chaos. And yeah, that can sound scary, but it really is that energy that gives us the life to evolve, to not be in a fixed state, to you know, to really notice when something is within us that is uncomfortable, that we don't just fall into a lull of, you know, just, you know, complacence and being, you know, just, I guess, mediocre, being kind of asleep in our own life, right? And so this kind of mischief and naughty and just a little bit chaotic and contrary, and you know, kind of just stirring things up, this energy comes in, and you know, it will help shift whatever is happening. It will help bring this you know, a resolve for some kind of change. Okay, now we have to be careful about how we choose to change, right? Or what path that we go down. what path we go down. This could lead to overindulgence, to intoxication, enchantment, madness, too much merriment, too much obsession, to being too out of touch and not keeping our feet planted enough that we have that string back to reality, that we are able to not get too spiraled out into the madness. Okay. And so it's important to decide, how are you going to do this beautiful self-work that you're doing? It can be really easy to get into this kind of almost left-handed, bacchanalian, or even paranoid, frenzied, where the ecstatic agape becomes a frenzied, all-consuming, devouring kind of obsession, lust, something that is just debauchery, basically. Okay, so we have to find a happy medium with that. Of course, it is wonderful to be completely consumed with our own self-development, with our relationship with the divine, with the various entities that will reveal themselves to us through that work. And that's fine, that's good, but you also, you don't have to. Of course, there are people, there are beings, there are previous occult practitioners and spiritualists and, whatever, that have let themselves be, just totally succumb to that. And that's fine. If that's what you choose. I'm not placing any value on that. But I feel like if you are here and for this reading, the person I'm reading for, and through the lens of my own paradigm, and experience, I feel that a lot of people are not looking to go mad. Okay. You're looking for some kind of meaning. You're looking for some kind of purpose. You're looking for something that, some kind of help in finding direction to do the work that you need to do in this life cycle. But in such a way that you don't lose any sense of self, or at least you can come back to self. You're not totally out of control of your life, okay? And having mental health crises due to, let's face it, sometimes it leads to psychosis or addiction or, other kinds of things that manifest as mental health problems or issues or, acute things. And I am very empathetic of that. I understand how easily you can kind of cross over into that place. So we have to be careful. And while we're doing this work, there's this very beautiful seducer. I was trying to think of, kind of the other way of saying that. Not just a seductress, but a seducer. And very easy to kind of just let ourselves go into that. And so you must, and I think that this is a big message for you, that you must keep a level head, keep your feet on the ground. Don't let go of that earthy energy, okay? And important as well is checking in with people who you feel safe with, okay? And having a support system. And, especially if you live alone or you have roommates or whatever, but you don't necessarily make contact with people on a regular basis. When you are doing serious work, it's easy to really get into that but not check in with people. And that I think it's important I personally believe it's very important to do that, so you don't get lost in it. Okay. And let's see. Another thing I'll say is if you have animals, it's really, I think that they're very grounding while you're doing operations and, magical experiments and things. I think having an animal, if you can take care of them, right, from in a normal situation, and if you can stay in that mindset where you're feeding them and walking them and, doing all the things that you need to do for them, of course, that's important. Obviously, it's a priority. So if you can maintain that, having an animal around that needs you and wants to commune with you while you're going through these kinds of processes is also keeps you tied to base reality, and that's a beautiful thing. So if you can have an animal, or if you have the will to have an animal, it might be a good idea to do that while you're doing this kind of self-work as well. Okay, let's see. See like some running. This one's kind of chasing, and this one looks like it's kind of running. And then we have this kind of strange figure here. And let me see what I can see here. Okay, so I feel like there's this aspect of kind of just wanting to be able to like grasp something, to reach out and get a hold of it. I feel like there's also this sense of kind of not feeling like you don't know if you're doing things the correct way, or looking for some kind of verification that what you're doing is meaningful. It's like just kind of at a grasp to you. Maybe you're looking for some kind of like tangible recognition for the work that you're doing. Not recognition, but just like something to manifest maybe in the physical, so that you can look at it and say, yes, this is working. Okay, so this probably has to do with like ritual, okay, or some kind of maybe invocation, evocation, whatever kind of operation maybe you're doing. There's maybe this sense of not knowing if it's working or if you're doing it right. But, you want to have some kind of, physical, some kind of physical verification. Okay. So let me give an example. If you're like invocating a spirit or some kind of intelligence, and you want and it's, you're doing it within like an interior space, but you're looking to see if it will manifest in your physical realm so that you could, experience it with one of your senses. So that would be with, seeing it, hearing it, smelling it, tasting it, whatever, being able to touch it. And that hasn't happened, so you don't know how is this working. Now, I think that the message here is that we need to work on maybe shifting our perception, and also looking for that thing inside of you, which we, so easily call intuition. But what does that really mean? Okay. And I think it's really looking for that thing inside of you that just kind of feels like, yes, it clicks. I know this is the right thing, or I feel like I'm on the right path. It's easy to second guess yourself, especially when you're doing spiritual work, magical work. If there is writings about it and you kind of are trying to follow those things, or they're not very, they're pretty vague. Often the treaties and technical writings, they're pretty ambiguous and vague about, the actual product of these rituals. So it's left up to your interpretation and your own experience. Okay, so it can be hard to trust yourself that you know what you're doing or that you're doing things correctly. This is a big part of doing magic or being an occultist or a spiritual worker, healer, divination. It's easy to come into it with a very logical mind, okay? And that's not going to lend any service to you in these kind of more nuanced parts of the work, okay? So I think that really this is a good place for you to exercise really following your intuition. And I think that you can practice that in day-to-day life. Try to make less rational decisions, kind of go off of your gut feeling, see where that leads you. Obviously, be very careful. Don't do this like with important, like driving or, I can't think of exactly what, but, just I think it's important to strengthen that confidence that you can follow your intuition and stay alive and survive, okay? And that will carry over into these other places of your occult work or your magical work, spiritual work, okay? And I think, other things to do, just keeping track of it, keeping those journals, magical journals, and I say this in a lot of my videos, going back over them, looking for patterns, looking for things that you overlooked. When you are doing magical and spiritual work operations, you should keep meticulous documentation. I know it's tedious. I don't like doing it myself, but almost every cultist you'll ever read will tell you you need to. And that is because you overlook things, you're experiencing things in the present, and it might seem different in retrospect, okay? So you might see, a different sub-narrative or, other indications that tie to other magical work that will come or has come or whatever. So, be meticulous, write all those things down, and look for your successes, broaden your idea of what the success really can be for you, okay? And sometimes, I don't like this term, but it really is true, to a great degree, really. And a lot of things in life is that you have to fake it till you make it, okay? And sometimes you have to fake it with yourself, okay? And just tell yourself, I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm doing. Sometimes part of, really getting past some of those blockages is really just being able to let go of the scientific mind that we have, especially in ritual. And I mean, that is important there are layers of it where you do need the scientific mind. There needs to be like a happy marriage of both magical thinking and the scientific mind pursuits, being, curious and questioning and all of that. But while you're in it, you have to kind of let go of that stuff and learn how to. We've been conditioned to really think about things from a very logical, rational standpoint, which of course we should, but it's not going to always work within magical work, okay? So I think that really it's helpful to try to learn to practice abandoning some of that, and that strengthening of the intuition, just going off of your instincts. Practicing that in your day-to-day life is so important. Okay, now let's see. This has gotten really dry here. So, what do I see? I feel like there's like a sense of movement and loss here. I feel that there's loss of kind of a male. It seems like a male or masculine person in your life. And I don't know that it's like death, but I feel like you have lost contact with somebody that's important. I see this kind of movement here, the legs, and I have this feeling that you have really been trying to decide if you're going to be in contact with them or try to contact them again. And I don't know that there was even really like a problem, just maybe kind of like you've grown out of the closeness that you once had. And I think that you should definitely reach out to this person. I think they would love to hear from you. I think in the next like 3 days or 3 weeks from when you watch this video is a really good time to do that. And I think they'll be very receptive. Okay. I also am seeing indicators that there is kind of a general like melancholy happening, which kind of makes sense if you're watching this video around the time that it comes out. We are in winter in the northern hemisphere. Maybe you are in the southern hemisphere when it is summer and very hot. That can also cause melancholy. I know I get pretty blue when it's really hot outside. But you know, just with the seasonal affective disorders that happen for a lot of people, I know I'm in the north and they say that most people are deficient in vitamin D, and it can really add to that seasonal affective disorder. So if you are feeling really, you know, more than just a general melancholy, please seek out your doctor, your therapist, your support system. You don't need to go through it alone. But if it's something less, I think that, you know, just doing things like, and I know you roll your eyes, I used to like when people, okay, sorry. It just started to die on me. So you roll your eyes when somebody tells you this, because I have before, when you're not feeling great emotionally, and they tell you to exercise, get outside, get some fresh air, get some sun. And I'm going to say the same thing, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But yeah, those things really do help. And I think just having a routine where you are implementing some of that stuff, the physical movement is so important, especially in these darker months. Okay. So, and when you have a heavy kind of Saturnian or Saturnine energy, that movement is so, so important. And okay, so really, I think that that's gonna wrap it up. I think you're really heavily into some self-evolution, self-work, maybe really partaking in some magical work in a more formal way, and that's a beautiful thing. Just let's remember to temper ourselves, be careful about the paths that we choose to go down, the decision making, but enjoy it, have fun. That's important. That's so important. And other than that, yeah, I just look out for a cardinal. This maybe was your cardinal in the bowl, but somebody you love is really, really looking over you and sending you that kind of love feeling for sure. All right. So thank you so much, Taurus. It's been a pleasure. I'm always so honored to be able to bring these messages to you. Okay. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. I love hearing from you. Other than that, we will see you pretty soon in 12 days. Hopefully we'll get on a schedule pretty soon where I'm doing 2 videos a day, and then we'll have once a week we'll have a video for you. But that, we'll see how soon I can get that going. All right. Thanks so much again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.